The president's son, Hunter Biden, has agreed to a federal plea deal that will likely mean he will not have to go to prison. According to a court filing made public Tuesday by the Justice Department, Biden will plead guilty to 2 misdemeanor tax charges. The agreement will also spare him prosecution on a felony charge of illegally possessing a firearm. Catherine Herridge has more from Washington.
As part of the Hunter Biden plea agreement, 3 charges were filed in a Delaware court. 2 misdemeanor counts of willful failure to pay federal income tax on annual earnings in excess of $1.5 million. A 3rd count, possession of a handgun by a drug user, would be dismissed if Biden remains drug-free and commits no additional crimes during a specified time period. A source familiar with the term said Biden's legal team expects probation, not jail time, though final approval rests with the judge.
I think the judge is going to do what's fair, and I think what's fair is, my client gets on with his life.
David Weiss, the U.S. attorney in Delaware who led the probe, was appointed by then-President Trump and left in place by the Biden administration. In a statement, Weiss said the investigation is ongoing, but Hunter Biden's team sees it differently.
My understanding is that we're done.
Traveling in California, President Biden was asked about the news.
I'm very proud of my son.
Hunter Biden spoke about the federal investigation on CBS Sunday Morning.
I'm cooperating completely, and I am absolutely certain, 100% certain, that at the end of the investigation, that I will be cleared.
While Democrats hailed the agreement as a sign of the Justice Department's independence, Republicans cried foul. Former President Donald Trump, arraigned on criminal charges last week, said Hunter Biden was given a mere traffic ticket.
You think this is another example of a 2-tier system of justice in America?
Republican Congressman James Comer leads the House Oversight Committee, which is investigating the Biden family's foreign business dealings, a probe disputed by the White House.
Will you call the U.S. attorney in Delaware to testify?
I would expect the U.S. attorney to testify in front of the House of Representatives very soon. He needs to explain whether or not his investigation is concluded.
Gene Rossi, a former Justice Department official who handled tax cases, told CBS News the failure to pay tax on more than $3 million, even though now repaid, is a serious violation.
If this were Hunter Smith instead of Hunter Biden, I think you would have a very much more aggressive prosecution.
And Catherine Herridge joins me now, along with Chief Investigative Correspondent Jim Axelrod. Catherine, I want to start with you. Hunter Biden's lawyer says this 5-year investigation has now been resolved. Has it, though?
Well, that's where the daylight is, John, between Hunter Biden's team and the U.S. attorney in Delaware, who put out a statement today saying the investigation is ongoing. We're going to learn all the details when we finally get to see this plea agreement memo. That will be filed typically on the day that Hunter Biden surrenders and the judge reviews and then signs off on the plea agreement or refuses the plea agreement. That document, all that matters is what's within the 4 corners of that document. So the parties may differ on what was agreed, but that document, which is not public, will tell the whole story.
Jim, let's talk about the IRS whistleblower that you've reported on. What was it that this was a career IRS supervisory agent? What led that agent to complain to the Inspector General and ultimately come to CBS News to raise concerns about political interference in this tax case?
Well, John, Gary Shapley, as you say, a career IRS supervisory agent, said that there had been preferential treatment given to a target of his investigation he was working on. CBS News sources told us that indeed that target was Hunter Biden. Shapley sought some protections so that he could testify to the House Ways and Means Committee and flesh out what his charges were. What he said was preferential treatment given to who we now know was Hunter Biden. He testified for 6 hours behind closed doors last month, while sources that are familiar with the deliberations tell us that Shapley's testimony, a transcript of that testimony, and some documents that he provided will be made public as early as later this week. So we will get an inkling, some insight for the first time into what was going on over the last 5 years with the investigation into Hunter Biden if the transcript of Shapley's testimony and the documents he provided to the committee are indeed supplied.
Catherine, I was in your piece. Gene Rossi said that basically there would have been a different result if his name had been Hunter Smith. What about, did any reporting on whether that's true on the gun charge? And at the end of the day, what's being said here? Is it that David Weiss put a thumb on the scale? Somebody at Justice put a thumb on the scale? What's exactly the allegation in terms of if he's getting different treatment?
Right. I think we need to see, going back to this memo of the plea agreement, because it's going to stipulate what exactly has been agreed to and what Hunter Biden is pleading guilty to. So in some respects, we're a little bit sort of shooting in the dark here. However, what I heard from Gene Rossi was reinforced from other former Justice Department officials who dealt with tax cases. And they said to me that once you cross a threshold of about $200,000 on unpaid income, it's still a misdemeanor, but often there's jail time. And the reason for that is they want to have an across-the-board situation that rich people aren't really allowed to skip on their tax and then later pay it and then do no time. So they want to have some equality, basically, depending on this particular charge. And then finally on the gun, a diversion program is a little unusual. You just have to search on the internet to look at DOJ.gov and unlawful or drug user gun possession, and you'll see that people are routinely given jail sentences in federal prisons for not exactly the same, but similar scenarios. So I think it's ultimately both elements of the plea that have become controversial.
Mm-hmm. And so, Jim, if this deal, the plea deal, is predicated on the belief that this would end the investigation, how will the Hunter Biden camp assess the U.S. Attorney's statement that said it was still ongoing?
Well, you heard in Catherine's piece that the feeling is it's over. I can tell you from my discussions with sources inside the Hunter Biden camp that there is 100% understanding that this is the end of the investigation. But, John, I think the point is worth making, that hanging over the entire analysis of what has happened is that you have a Trump-appointed U.S. attorney in Delaware who has been overseeing this investigation. And he said as recently as June 7th, David Weiss wrote, "Throughout my tenure as U.S. attorney, my decisions have been made, and with respect to the Hunter Biden matter, must be made without reference to political consideration." So there's still this explanation. What would a Trump-appointed U.S. attorney, what would his motivation be, or what would his reasoning be for going light on Hunter Biden?
We got some more documents to look at that will help us clear up this story, but thank you for helping us get this far. Catherine Herridge and Jim Axelrod. Appreciate it.